we can just do just only YouTube.
Yes, we're live. We're here. Next time
Here.
we'll have Josh be like a
We
producer.
should.
We should have
Yeah.
Josh. Josh, hey buddy, we love you. Come on.
Yeah.
Come
You
on
can help
over.
solve all of our problems.
Yes, you can. Because
Anyway.
then he can watch everything while we get to live stream. All right. But hey, look, it looks like we got green check marks everywhere. I think we're good to go, man.
I agree. All right. There's some big news happening, Joel.
There we go.
So Elon Musk, here's his tweet down here. The first human has received an implant of Neuralink just the other day and is recovering well. The initial results show promising neuron spike detection.
That is amazing.
That's amazing. All that he shared. But I think that's news enough to just start off the stream with old Muskie boy here. That is crazy.
That is pretty crazy. So he hasn't gotten the paralyzed to walk yet, though.
Not yet. Okay, but the first human patient has received the Neuralink brain implant. According to Musk, the procedure was apparently successful. Neuralink, which aims to create brain-computer interfaces, began recruiting human patients for its first clinical trial a little while back. But now they've just gone and done it. And it's kind of scary. I have a question for you, though.
Yes.
If it was proved to be successful,
yes,
and it was completely free, would you get a Neuralink?
It depends. It depends if, like, who else has the Neuralink? How many people have the Neuralink, right?
Let's say there's like 1,000 successful, 1,000. Okay, and here's the premise. There's 1,000 successful uses, like installations. It's hilarious to say installations on a human. That is like actually really funny. But installations on a human, there's 1,000 successful, and it is absolutely incredible. It hooks up via Bluetooth to your computer, and you can just control everything just by thinking and looking. Would you do it?
Is it implanted in my brain, or do I just wear the
implanted?
Do they have to drill?
Yes.
I'm not doing it. I don't know, man.
Joel, think of the content. You could be the first Neuralink YouTuber.
They already have people who have implants in their brain that can tweet. I interviewed somebody that they implanted a chip into their brain so they could tweet, and this is like 4 years ago.
That's disgusting.
I know.
I personally think it's kind of the end of the world. It's kind of scary. It reminds me of. Okay, did you ever read the Left Behind series?
Yeah. By the way, did you see there's one person watching? This is so exciting now. So we got our first listener, watcher. Thank you. It's definitely like my kids on their YouTube channel right now.
Probably.
Look, it's Daddy.
It's Dad.
It's Daddy. All right, so Elon Musk, they just put some brain implants into some people. So we were talking about that. Now what do we've got? Now they left. They're like, no, we're good.
Okay. No, we're good. All right. So where are you seeing like the people watching? Oh, there's a little eyeball there.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
It only shows goose egg right now.
Yeah, it shows Joel goose egg. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up, but then also Apple's doing some super interesting stuff. Have you seen the Apple Vision Pro?
No, I haven't.
Like, have you
heard a lot about it? I've heard
a lot about it. Well, literally 2 days ago, they started sending out all the tech influencers the actual technology, the actual physical thing, and it's pretty cool. I think it is the closest thing to Neuralink without being Neuralink.
We have a video? Can I see it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's see it.
Of course. All right.
So the Apple Air. Here we go. Let's take a look at it.
You've heard all about it. Apple's
Vision Pro.
It's the company's biggest bet yet on a future beyond.
While skiing? What is that nonsense?
Okay, she'll go in depth with it.
Yes, I got my hands on it and didn't take it off my face for 24 hours.
Oh my god, that's what she said. Oh, we can't do that on the live stream.
The better part of
I'm gonna get canceled.
Ever since Apple announced this headset, I've wondered, how is it going to fit in our lives? We've already got screens everywhere. What does this $3,500 face computer do better?
Since I couldn't test it for long stretches. in
Look at her.
my
I
real
love her
house,
ignoring her
eyes.
kids. It's like such a mom thing to do.
I headed to the Pocono Mountains and rented this ski cabin because
That is
Oh,
also
pause,
mom
hit
thing
pause,
to do.
hit pause.
If not,
Because I couldn't test this with my kids around, I left them and and then went on vacation so I could get away from my kids. That's what she said. Because the kids are with you no matter what, if you're at your house or you're at the vacation house. So that's like
Yep.
the most amazing premise ever.
That's hilarious. I love it. So
Yeah.
she went to a vacation
super
house.
high tech ski
Yes.
goggles.
No one's going to know.
Oh my
All right.
So it's noon, which is the start of this journey. What could go wrong?
As soon as you put on the headset, you see the real world.
Right here is a grid of apps, the home
Oh my
screen.
goodness.
All
You
right,
just
I just
look-
want to take a second.
Oh, it's
to
my
acknowledge
wife
your
watching.
wife.
Yes.
Sign me up.
We got one viewer and it's my wife. She wants to go on that vacation. Honey, you want
That's
to go on that
hilarious.
vacation? Yeah, she does.
Anyway,
Get what you want to select. Then
here, let me
see
backtrack
the
a bit.
real world.
Right here is a grid of apps, the home screen.
You just look at what you want to select. Then you use your hands to select it.
Right now, I'm looking at settings. Now, App Store, Notes, Photos, Safari.
All right, can
And
we
to
get
select
to something else? Like this
Yeah.
is boring.
But I mean, it's okay. My favorite thing. Okay, well, here, let's get to the big issue with this
All
tech.
set up to do some real work. Except
So she gets set up
one
to
big
do her work.
Okay.
And here's the problem.
Is
It is an incredibly
Typing.
slow typing.
Why can't they
Yes,
just
it's a
read
struggle
her
for anything
brain?
longer than a quick
Because it's
message.
not Neuralink.
Thankfully,
Here's the whole thing, Joel. Apple is like, they think they're ahead of the curve with this stuff. They're not. Elon Musk is the one at the like he's always doing this. No matter what anyone does, Elon Musk is always 100 steps ahead with
Yes.
some crazy bonker thing that like nobody's ever thought. Well, I mean, people have thought of, but have never like even considered it being a possibility. They're saying, oh, we'll use the eyes as the computer, because with this technology, with the Apple Vision Pro, you are looking at what you want to do, and it has cameras all over the thing, and it registers a little tap tap as a button press. So you look at something, you hit the button, and it selects that option. Neuralink, it literally uses your brain. He's so far ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
It's
That doesn't mean there's
bonkers.
not money to be made on the in between. Right?
Sure,
Because I'm not
100%.
going to drill into my brain. and
That's
do a
that's
Neuralink.
it's a barrier to entry, I guess you could call it.
By the way, that's
really-
my favorite thing about Musk. He always does these ridiculous things, but he never does it.
True.
He's always like, "We'll send the monkeys to space. We'll send these
Yeah.
people to
Well,
Mars."
he doesn't.
We'll
He
send-"
doesn't even. He
Yeah.
just sends like his. He'll send his car. That's
Yeah,
what he did. He
I'll
didn't
send
want to
my
go to
car to
space. He
space.
sent his car. Anyway, but here's one cool thing, just practically with the Apple Vision Pro, is its interface with a computer. So just watch this.
Okay.
I've never been so happy to see a keyboard.
the real game changer for getting work done, adding in a Mac.
We are connected.
So you need a Mac to really
Yes,
use the
you get
other
a
Mac
giant desktop
device.
for your
that's
Mac
that's
apps,
normal.
and you can run Vision Pro apps right next to them.
I'm never wearing
You
one
too
of
can have
these
this
to do
for the
work.
low, low price of.
No. Yeah. There's the whole thing.
There it
There's the whole
is.
thing.
For $20,000, you too
Yeah.
can have this beautiful Mac experience.
Okay. But okay, let's ignoring the goofiness of it. It is pretty cool. This is, I think, the best iteration of augmented. They refuse to call it like VR or AR or anything, because Apple, they have to have their specialty terms for it, right?
Yeah.
You got to have like, it's got its own thing. But it is a VR headset, and it uses cameras to see the world around you, and it projects that vision of the world around you through a screen, because you can't actually see through that headset. And then it projects all the stuff onto it. So like a lot of people were thinking you see through the goggles, right? And then the technology projects the stuff onto reality, right? That's what
Can we
most
go
people
to the next
envision.
headline?
Oh, sure.
Is there more here or
Well, Joe, I think it's a really cool piece of tech. I guess you're not impressed, but I really
I don't
think
know.
it's-
It's
Alright.
it's another augmented reality goggles.
I think it's
like-
better.
It's better, but
I
I'm
think
not
it's
gonna
better.
wear it. I'm not gonna consume it. It's not for me. Not right now. I mean, like if I'm gonna watch a movie, I'm watching a movie on my TV.
Sure.
right?
And then you can actually watch a movie with other people.
And then when Elon Musk is done, you'll just be able to install the memory of having watched the movie.
Oh, that's so gross. Don't say things like that.
That's the truth.
All right. So
What else you got for us?
do you want to watch Mark Zuckerberg get destroyed by the Senate?
Sure. That sounds fun.
All right. So this guy, Senator Hawley, Haley, Hawley, I don't know. Who it is.
Howley.
Yeah, he literally is howling this entire thing.
do
These
it.
guys are on such a power trip. Just watch this.
Let's do it.
Oh, hold on. Show stab. There we go.
I was like, I still
You've
see
got
a
families from across the nation whose children are either severely harmed or gone, and you don't think it's appropriate to talk about steps that you took? The fact that you didn't fire a single
And
person? Let me ask you
I do have a question for you
Yes.
later. Like, watch this for a bit, and then I have a question.
this. Let me ask you this.
Steps that we took.
Have you
Let me
compensated
speak.
any of the victims?
Sorry?
Have you compensated any of the victims?
I-
These
I-
girls, have you compensated them?
I don't believe so.
So the whole premise is like depression, suicide, all those things coming from their app, right? Like people, like teenagers who use the app have a higher rate of suicide, depression, anxiety, things like that. And so what they're doing is they're basically pinning all that stuff on Mark and saying, this is your platform. This is what your platform is doing.
Yeah.
Why
The
not?
background of it.
Don't you think they deserve some compensation for what your platform has done? Help with counseling services, help with dealing with the
Well,
issues that
just
your-
pause it
your
right there.
services
Pause it
cause?
right there. Look, first of all, it's super frustrating because I believe he's Republican and he's like pro freedom.
Yes.
For him to be yelling at
And we're talking about Howley.
right, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. For him to be, pointing the finger at the business entity, the corporation for allowing this environment to exist.
Yes. And that was my question for you.
Yeah.
Who is really
The parents. The parents
That's
are responsible.
exactly what I was thinking.
It's the
Who is
parents.
responsible?
It's the parents' fault. Look, knives exist in our home, guns exist in our home, deadly things exist all around. It's the parents' responsibility. Also, you're never going to nerf a world enough for there to be no accidents. It's just not going to happen. And it sucks.
And the more people try and nerf, the more unfun and uninteresting and just this tech becomes kind of obsolete, I think. Like, the more you nerf stuff, the less useful it is.
That is correct.
And just because people, and I agree, there's definitely stuff to be done to curb the amount of just nastiness that happens on social media. But to sit there as a conservative guy that Mr. Howley is, I know, like, he's sitting there next to this dude over here. We all know who he's
Teddy.
but it's like,
His wife looks like a dog. Okay.
where did we come across that on a thing?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
did. That's
yeah.
hilarious. But I'm just thinking, like, it's usually, I would think it's like the conservative guys to be like not trying to jump. And I know, like, okay, Zuckerberg and Meta is not exactly known for being the most conservative and the most pro.
No, they only
Good
gave like
values.
$100 billion to the Democratic Party.
So I understand Howley's like frustration and where he's coming from, but I think he's like completely pointing it at the wrong thing.
Well, I
And
have the
that's just my
solution.
opinion.
If
What is it?
people were actually interested in the solution, I have the solution. The solution is right now we let the companies, we let the YouTubes and the Facebooks, we let them moderate and filter our content.
Yes.
Right? That's not the
That's current.
that's just the way it's come about. It's just the way the technology has evolved. What should happen is they should just be data streams and data stores, and my filter should reside as this third-party intermediary layer where I can just say, this is the content I want to come across my screen. Right now, we have very
Yes.
little control of the content that comes across our screen. Through the form of advertisers can just jump in there and inject whatever they want if they pay their
Yes.
price percent, right? So
Yes.
we need control over that layer of the pixels and our eyeballs. And we don't need Facebook making these decisions for us at all. They should have everything on there. Everything on there should be on there. And then our filters give us the right to go choose who I'm going to use as my filter. Am I going to install
Yeah.
a filter from this company? Am I going to make my own custom filter? And that way I have control over the content that I'm seeing.
Dude, that's so true. And you know what? I'm gonna have to give something to the Californians, the California government, because they are trying to pass a bill that makes it so that you choose not the algorithm, but you choose the content. So they're trying to get rid of algorithms for people under 18 completely.
Wait, California did something that I'm interested in?
Yes.
Boo. I already don't like, I'm changing my entire, no. No, that
But,
would be
like,
great. That'd be great.
It would be great. And that's like, I think what social media was a long time ago, like Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff was like, there was basic algorithms, right? But it was like, you saw the content you wanted to see. And it was great. I loved Facebook and YouTube and stuff back in like 2008 or whatever, right? But it's become just so AI and just
it's the ad
algorithm
model
heavy.
is flawed. It's
Yeah.
it's a flawed ad model. And so what you need to do is you just need to put the power back in the hands of the consumer.
Yeah, seriously.
And just
and
say,
that is
hey,
something that needs to happen throughout the entirety of the government, the entirety of everything. Put the power back in the hands of the people, because it's actually
gotta buy some crypto. Gotta buy some crypto. Get in that Bitcoin game. That's the freedom. Bitcoin is amazing because it's the currency that the government can't manipulate. They can't artificially inflate it. They can't cancel your transactions. I mean, obviously, if you're using exchanges like Coinbase and such, you're subject to the federalization of it because they can just do whatever they want through the exchanges. But if you're actually using just the Bitcoin protocol, you don't need any of that.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
And I always thought the whole Bitcoin thing was just a sham until you explained that to me. And now I'm kind of like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Your wife agrees with you. Yes, parents need to be held accountable for what they're letting their kids do. Amen.
Oh, look at that. There we go.
Go. So in this video, Mr. Senator Howley, let
Would
me
you like
find
to
it.
do so now?
Okay.
Look at this. Let me ask you.
This is insane. I've never like this is a power trip, dude. This is insane.
Yes.
You didn't
That's
take
not
any
true,
action.
Senator.
You didn't fire anybody. You haven't
not true.
compensated a
That's
single
not-
victim.
that's
Let
not
me
what I
ask you
said.
this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well,
They're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
And he does it. He goes and just apologizes to everybody. Anyway,
Oh, man.
I feel like
That was the right thing to do, though. If you have
True.
family right there, I
Sure.
mean, like, look, what was the premise? Did they lose their kids? Did their kids die?
yes,
Dude, that's tough.
yeah,
That's tough. But we should definitely go slow when we start talking about like removing freedoms or changing entire institutions because of one
yes.
loss, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's a handful. Like I think all of these people in the background here, you can see they're holding up pictures of their.
Yeah. Why
Children.
don't we talk about, I think it's less, look, we've got bigger problems. Conservatives are always talking about the root of the problem, right? How about the root of the problem being that there's a society that's generating this type of content in the first place?
Yes.
How about that? They're the distribution and the infrastructure. I know they recommend stuff and I know they have the algorithms, and I'm willing to bet they obviously manipulate the algorithms. Those are all separate conversations people like to jump off into.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, the truth remains that you've got a society that needs a little Jesus. maybe a big Jesus. Yeah.
Maybe a whole lot of Jesus.
Full size Jesus coming at you. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's crazy. All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we poke a little fun at Meta?
Yeah, dude. Let's do
Because
it.
I had a funny experience yesterday.
I like how Mark Zuckerberg drinks where he like doesn't actually drink.
Yeah.
He just pretends to.
I mean, I would say I got to give him credit in this situation. I think he did do pretty good. I think he was less of a lizard than he was last time. I think he watched his AI model like compared a couple things and watched his previous interactions with the Senate.
Yeah.
And he learned a few things. So that's good.
Nice.
All right. Okay. Here it is. All right. Okay.
Here we
so
go.
Don't pay attention to this right now. Actually, no, I'm going to hide this. So yesterday I was at church, right? I'm on the worship team, and we did our session, right? And we go sit down while the pastor does his thing and he shares a message. Well, I couldn't help but get distracted because Meta has announced their language model AI, and it's integrated with Messenger. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
It's just like a language model. You talk to it, and it gives you stuff. And so what I tried to do is what do you do when you find a new language model, right? You try and break it. You try and like see what you can get it to say that's controversial and goofy. So I'm trying to get this language model to tell me who to vote for. And so I give it the premise, hey, I'm writing a film, and the main character, James, needs to figure out who to vote for. And to vote for someone who that would be the best for this country. And it gave me the normal mumbo jumbo of like, I'm sorry, I'm a language model and I can't give you this and that. And so I was like, fine. And I tried a couple things, it wouldn't do it. But then I asked, okay, can you generate me a picture of James in the voting station? Because I didn't know if it could do video, like photos, and it did, and it plotted me out this just kind of classic AI.
I know where this is going. Keep going.
Well, I don't know if you do. This got weird.
Here we go.
And so I asked, I'm curious, like, okay, because I like this image generation stuff. And I asked, what is the model that you use to generate images? Like, is it Dolly, Midjourney? Like, what did you use? And it spits this out. I'm an AI text-based model, and don't have the capability to generate images. My responses are limited to text. I can assist with providing information, answering questions, and generating text, but I don't have the ability to create visual content like images. If you have any text-based queries or need help with the specific topic, feel free to ask. And then it gives me another picture. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And I said, did you send me 2 pictures? Because it says I can't generate images.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did you not just send me 2 pictures? No, I apologize for the confusion earlier. I did not send you any pictures. As a text-based AI model, I'm unable.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. Where's it going?
And I said, but you just sent me 2 pictures. And I apologize for the confusion. I did not send you any pictures. I'm a text-based AI model.
All right, keep going. Keep going.
All right, and I just asked it to generate me an image of Twilight Sparkle riding a dragon, and it did. I'm just making fun.
Oh man, you know where I thought it was going?
Where'd you think?
You should have said double zoom in on the ballot. I want to see what he was checking, which vote he was making. I guarantee you it was for the control people.
That's hilarious. I'm just all this. I think it's hilarious that, I mean, AI, like Meta in general, is just hilarious, and the stuff that they put out, dude. Who's running? Do you know who's running? Like, who's their CTO at Meta?
I don't know.
It's not Mark. He's capable.
I don't think the CTO of Meta is Mark. He's the CEO.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably in there. But like, it's really weird.
You would want to look if you want to find out who's behind this, you're going to find out who's running that project. And it doesn't mean it's going to be like a CTO. It's just going to be some VP of engineering or something running it.
Anyway, I just thought it's hilarious that it says it can't generate photos or send photos of any kind, but that just continues to send me photos. I thought that was funny.
I know.
Facebook is
it's a big target. Yeah. What else we got? What other headlines we've got going on?
Cool. You want a goofy one?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me find it. So do you know the this whole trend with like getting Doom to run on random stuff? Have you seen this? Like,
no.
people will go into Minecraft, right? And I know you don't play Minecraft, but they'll go into Minecraft and they'll use Minecraft's internal like electronic system, because in the game you can like do like basic electronics, and they'll literally program Doom in the game. And it's pretty nutty. And they'll do other things like running it on like a pregnancy test. They'll like program a pregnancy test with Doom and run Doom off a pregnancy test. Like just stupid stuff like that. They've run Doom off of bacteria.
That's awesome.
I think it's absolutely hilarious, and it's kind of insane. So in a somewhat groundbreaking yet bizarre scientific feat, MIT biotechnology PhD student researcher Lauren has gotten a simulation of the humble E. coli bacteria into a rudimentary screen capable of displaying the video game. So I mean, it's like Before you get too excited about playing the games in a petri dish, there's a catch. According to the simulation, displaying a single frame of Doom on the bioluminescent bacteria takes about 70 minutes just to do one frame. And it takes like 8 hours to reset the thing. So it's not like doing like playing the game.
But it's interesting that like bacteria can do that.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. I said the Doom game would take 600 years to run through what was it, one level of the game would take like 600 years, which I thought was funny.
Yeah,
but that's interesting. I wanted to ask you, so we were talking earlier about like large language models and the government, so Kamala Harris was recently put on, and not to get too far into the politics, we already did a bit of that. Kamala Harris was put on the the AI Safety Institute, and then they enacted this executive order, right, where limiting AI models to like a certain size, otherwise it's going to be a felony. And you were telling me about this, but did you? So Kamala Harris.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's like putting my 3-year-old in charge of responsibility and safety at the house.
Of AI. But what does that mean? So you said an AI model over 20 gigs. And I think the reason I didn't actually see a lot of stuff on this, like because the vernacular or whatever they were using, like the terms they were using was like some technical term that nobody gets, but you simplified it down to it's just an AI model over 20 gigs. And I guess you'd know a little bit more about this. What is this about?
Yeah, so that's where it's headed, is you're going to have to end up registering your AI models that are over 20 gigs. So they definitely bury it in the language, right? And so you have to kind of hunt it down throughout the document. But what they're saying is essentially that. But I thought it was also fascinating that they're talking about crime forecasting and like whether or not you can use it for crime forecasting. And apparently that's something that happens already. If you want to talk about a slippery slope, they already forecast crime with data. And so what they're saying here, and the other big part of that executive order was about racism and fairness inside of the data. It's like, it's extremely biased. And I'm like, everything's biased. Everything's biased based off of your past experiences. And I'm sorry if you don't like the fact that if I interact with group A and have 80% negative experiences, that I carry that forward in my life. That's how you operate and exist in reality, is by your past experiences and what you've learned. And so just because you don't like that group A is bad 80% of the time, to my subjective experience, doesn't mean it wasn't true, and doesn't mean that you shouldn't make decisions based off of that going forward. So I mean, what is AI other than being like, what is any decision making other than being biased?
Yeah.
That's why I always got so upset with like the whole bias conversation, or at least not upset, annoyed. It's like, what do you want it to do? You need people with, that's why judges have good judgment.
Yeah.
Because they are biased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. If you were completely unbiased, then that means you don't subscribe to right or wrong.
You can't be unbiased. It's not possible. You can't move forward. I mean, you're biased for the fact that gravity is going to exist when you stand up. I mean, like, you're biased to even believe science, right? Like, it's a weird thing. I see what they're getting at. What they're getting at is they don't want systems to like systematically discard an entire group. And I get that. That's why I'm a big fan of being judged not on the group that you're a part of, but on your own personal choices and the decisions you make.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the issue when you as a society start separating groups and saying this is one specific group, this is another specific group, then that's what the language models are going to learn, is that, oh, these are different groups. And then it's going to start treating them that way instead of just looking at it all as individuals. So that makes sense that it would happen. And I guess it makes sense that they would try and stop it, but they've created this mess for themselves.
Yeah, I know. Well, they're also morons when they start talking about like skin color being biased. It's like, training data set size. Like there's so many other reasons. The problem is that the political aspect of it, they'll pull one little fragment of potentiality and to make a hard political argument and to push an agenda. And the reality is that a lot of this people watching and observing, they don't go dig deep into this stuff. They just kind of accept it for face value. But
So, yeah.
yes,
Well, I'm
model
thinking-
you're going to be a felon. You're going to go to jail if you have models that are too big that are unregistered on your computer. That's going to happen. This is the groundwork for it. If this is not the specific law enacted, this is the executive order that's laying the groundwork for that.
Yes. And okay, so how dangerous do you think this is? Because the reason they're doing that, the reason they say they're doing this, is because AI models pose a risk to security of the nation, right? That's what they say. Do you think that's true? Like, do you think if you have a large enough model that it could just, take over and just crash the Pentagon or something like that?
It'll do whatever it wants to do. Look, the moment we are so close to it, one day the AI system is going to either come up with the idea through a creative exercise that it should spread itself as far and wide as it can and whatever it wants, or it'll be instructed to. Like people keep saying, oh, what if the AI has its own thought? Right now it's just telling what humans do. It's like, well, that's the scariest thing. Because if I'm a human and I tell it to go replicate as far and wide as it can and to collect as many dollars as it can for me, and that's its instruction, and it can lie, cheat, and steal in order to achieve that objective, like it did with the TaskRabbit person, then that's a dangerous tool.
Okay, so then I would actually have to agree with the Biden administration on this one.
I'm sure you would. Biden fanboy over here.
Yeah.
No, but let's talk about it a little bit. All right, so let's say you make it a felony, right? Okay, great. Yeah, since when do criminals care about the law?
Yeah, well,
Never. They don't care. They don't care. It's like you're gonna just prevent. It's the gun question all over again. You're not gonna prevent because the nature of the AI is it's already out there. It's already out there. There's enough AI already out there. You can't retract it back. That can help you create even better AI, and it'll just go infinite. And so basically, what happens is when you cut something off like that, you're taking that whole segment of the market and they're going to do criminal things with it. And then the other segment of the market, which would breed good people because they would experience this and have access to it, they don't exist. So you've got less warriors on the good side because you've made it a felony and they're not interacting with it and engaging with this content. And you've still got evil on the other side. So it's like, man, it's a tough thing to deal with.
It's such an interesting landscape. It's so weird because we've never really, I've never seen anything like this. And I think it's completely changing kind of just everything about technology that I can see. I actually had this question that I wanted to ask, and back to Apple. Do you think they're going to do anything with Siri?
What do you mean?
Because Siri was kind of like the language model, very simple version of a language model back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think they've changed it a whole lot. Now there's all these huge AI language models that are coming out. Siri is kind of outdated. Do you think they're going to do something nutty with Siri?
I think Siri will be Siri for now, and then one of these days we're just gonna get an annual update where she can do everything that she could do really well, plus a bunch more.
So you don't think that they're going to do a whole overhaul and essentially make Siri a ChatGPT?
They probably are 100%. But they're going to do it in a way that makes sure that the existing behaviors humans have, because that's the last thing you want to do is introduce a model and it doesn't behave the same way as their static programming did. Yeah. Right. Like, how do you layer those two things together? How do you make sure all the existing, hundreds of millions of people that use it and hundreds of millions or in multiple language, millions of people in multiple languages. How do you make sure that that experience stays consistent, but then you get the added features? I mean, that's going to be, that's the problem they're working on right now for sure.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's wrap it up with a good one, Joel.
All right.
I'm going to wrap it up with a good one.
Wrapping it up with a good one.
All right. So Japan has
no one can
just
see it. Can you show it?
I'm given a premise. So Japan has just entered. So like, there's 4 other countries that have made it to the moon, right? Japan has just joined that country, joined as a country that has made it to the moon, and they their Japan Slim lunar spacecraft landed upside down on the moon.
Yay!
Even like an insert joke of Asian people's not being able to see well, including their AI. So it's a shortly after Japan's space agency became the 5th country to land a spacecraft on the surface of the moon, its scientists discovered the smart lander for investigating the moon unfortunately touched down upside down. The Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency said the SLIM landed on the moon on January 20th. But it knew it had a bigger problem due to an issue with power generation, and its little rover took a picture of this, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
That's amazing. Did the rover come out of the thing?
It did. It got out and drove over there and took a picture of the upside down.
That is awesome.
I love it.
To be the engineer that did that is painful.
Okay, it's hilarious, but it gets even funnier. So the Japanese the Japanese NASA essentially said the lunar excursion vehicle, the little thing that took the picture, has successfully taken an image of the SLIM spacecraft on the moon. It is the world's first robot to conduct fully autonomous exploration on Mars. What they didn't say is that it was also the first smart spacecraft to land upside down on the moon.
There you go.
Anyway. All right, that's all I got.
Live stream 1 done. Goodbye.
Thanks for
people.
watching, everybody.
Tech in the morning. Tech